Foodfight is widely regarded as one of the worst animated films of all time, but the behind the scenes story is way more baffling and chaotic than the final product. Directed by Larry Kasanoff, who previously worked on the Mortal Kombat movies and other live action projects, this film was meant to be groundbreaking, an animation feature with unique concept. With the idea was to create a film in the vein of Toy Story, but instead of toys coming to life, it's actually food brands that come to life at night. It was supposed to be a comedic action adventure set in a supermarket where the famous food mascots would come to life after hours. The movie had a massive budget of $45 to $65 million and secured an all-star cast including Charlie Sheen, Eva Longoria, Wayne Brady, and Christopher Lloyd. Despite the potential of Foodfight, it quickly spiraled out of control. To understand how this disaster happened, we have to look at the root of the problems. Larry Kasanoff's lack of experience in animation. Kasanoff came from a background in live action films, where the process of directing is entirely different. When you make a live action film, you have to set adjustments on set, tweak performances, experiment with lighting angles. Animation, on the other hand, is a lot more different, to say the least. Progress that requires detailed planning before any rendering or animation works begins. Kasanoff, however, approached the project as if it were a live-action film, regularly making changes and demanding revisions from the animation team, which led to costly delays and confusion. One of the most significant early problems with the team itself, instead of hiring a dedicated animation studio with a track record in high-quality CGI films, Kasanoff hired inexperienced animators and even assigned texture artists who typically handle surface details like skin, fur, and fabric to handle animation itself. And as a result, the quality of animation is really inconsistent and amateurish. The film's early attempts at a more traditional squash and stretch style of animation, which was showcased at the 2001 trailer, looked way more polished and expressive. However, Kasanoff made the decision to switch to motion capture technology. Motion capture, or mocap, can be a powerful tool for realistic character movements, but it's rarely a good fit for exaggerated cartoony characters like those in Foodfight. Switch to mocap turned out to be disastrous. Instead of the lively, expressive animations that they are aiming for, the characters looked more stiffly and unnatural. The combination of the poor animation and the suited mocap technology made the film's visuals look dated and awkward. Though it was supposed to be cutting edge, making things worse, Kasanoff filled the film with inappropriate adult jokes, making it an awkward mix of a kids movie and a sometimes more mature, which alienated any potential audience. The jokes were so on the nose that they failed to land and added to an already confusing tone for the movie. And then there's the infamous theft in late 2002. According to Kasanoff, the hard drives containing the film's assets were stolen, which halted production and delayed the release. At the time, this seemed like a random stroke of bad luck, but in retrospect, some believe this event was not straightforward as it seemed. You see, there's a theory that Kasanoff may have fabricated or exaggerated the theft in order to buy more time for the product, which by this point was already falling apart due to the lack of experience of everybody. While we may never know the full truth of what happened, we do know that the supposed robbery delayed the film by nearly a decade, pushing the release date from 2003 to 2012. The delays didn't help the film. Instead, it became a never-ending cycle of retooling, reanimation, reshuffling the team without any clear direction or improvement in quality. By the time the insurance company back in the film, Fire Funds, intervened and they lost faith in the project. They demanded the film be finished as quickly as possible, forcing the animations to cobble together the mess that Kasanoff had created. What was released in 2012 wasn't even close to the original version. The rushed animation, the terrible textures, and the stilted performances. It created a product that looked like it was decades earlier, not in the era of Toy Story 3 or Frozen. Beyond the technological problems, Kasanoff's vision for Foodfight was overly ambitious from the start. He didn't just want to make a film, he wanted to create a multimedia empire. He envisioned video games, comic books, merchandise, and a whole range of products based around the film. The idea for the film was to create a crossover between real-world food mascots like Mr. Clean and fictional characters created for the film, but licensing the rights to real mascots turned out to be a major challenge. Many companies weren't interested in having their mascots associated with the film, once they saw the poor quality of the animation. Kasanoff's grand vision quickly unraveled as the film's reputation tanked, and none of the planned tie-ins ever saw the light of day. Another bizarre story relating to Foodfight that adds into the absurdity of the production is that Kasanoff allegedly commissioned the artist to create a new version of one of the film's characters, Lady X. who was already provocatively designed. The fact that this was a film supposedly aimed at kids only makes this even more baffling. To add insult to injury, the film's release was a complete failure after a decade in production and millions of dollars spent, and the reviews are horrid, with critics calling it the worst animated film of all time. The film's bizarre plot, atrocious animation, and nonsensical dialogue turned it into a punchline, basically. It's jarring to see the family-friendly scenes and then overly mature jokes that somehow made the film. The entire production progress became a laughingstock within the industry, cementing Foodfight as one of the most notorious disasters. In the end, Foodfight is remembered not just as a bad movie, but as a textbook example of what happens when a director without animation experience tries to control a medium they don't fully understand. Kasanoff's mismanagement, combined with the constant delays, poor animation choices, and a failure to adapt to reality of production, resulted in one of the most notorious animation disasters of all time.